Hi, my name is Madison Hughes, and for my final paper/project, I decided to analyze the movie Burlesque. The film was released in 2010 and directed by Steve Anton. Some of the major stars that are featured in the film include Christina Aguilera and Cher. I chose this film because in high school I used to dance, and my family owns a dance studio, so as soon as this film came out, a lot of dancers were excited about it because obviously it's a film about pursuing your dream of becoming a professional dancer. And also, my mom loves Christina Aguilera, so as soon as the film came out, my whole family was in the theater seeing it, and I just loved it, and I've probably seen it about 1,000 times, so I thought it would just be like something interesting to analyze for this project. So the movie's about this small-town girl who is actually a waitress in a bar at first, and she's very unfairly treated, she's underpaid, so she decides to pursue her lifetime dream of a career of dancing in LA. She moves out to the city, she's not finding many jobs, she stumbles upon this burlesque club, and she's immediately trying to get a job there. She's directed to talk to Tess, the club owner, who owns the club with her husband, and they quickly deny her because she's very undertrained, she doesn't have much experience dancing. She says that she's only danced in her home, really, so Tess kind of quickly just has someone shove her out the door, and Allie decides to pick up a tray and start waitressing for the bartender that night, just to see if she can get a job doing anything in the club. Tess approaches her after the first show and agrees to give her a permanent job as a waitress, but that's it. And then one day one of Tess's dancers gets pregnant, and she has to hold auditions to find a new dancer. And after Allie kind of pushes her way up on stage, she gives her a position. And from then on, she kind of gives Allie a chance. Before that point, Tess kind of keeps herself being the dominant one in the film. She controls everything, including being on stage, who gets to do what. She owns the club, and she also includes herself in some of the shows. So not only is she a powerhouse on stage, but she's also a powerhouse off the stage. And during the scene that I actually chose to do my screencast on, the audition scene, Allie kind of pushes her way up on stage when she gets to work that day and sees that there's auditions being held, and she doesn't leave the stage until Tess offers her a job. And Tess kind of underestimates her, and you can tell that in the scene because Tess is used to, having the power, deciding who does what, and now there's this new girl coming in and telling her that she wants the job, and she's basically not taking no for an answer. So I chose to do this screencast scene because it kind of shows the shift of power of Tess finally letting someone else into the spotlight. She's kind of giving Allie a chance to take some of Tess's power away. And I think this is the point where Tess is agreeing to find a good balance with Allie, because not only is she letting her become part of the show, but eventually after this, Allie becomes the star of the show. So this is kind of the turning point in that. But so after these auditions, Allie gets up on stage for her first performance. The sound cuts off and she starts singing live, which is something that they don't do at the burlesque club. So she comes off stage, and Tess is a little upset with her because obviously they've never done that before. It was not part of the show. And she says Allie shouldn't have done that. So she gets all of these reviews about the night that Allie was doing amazing, and the club is kind of in financial trouble. They're not really making as much money as they need to stay open, and there's a businessman looking to buy the property and sell the club. So Tess is desperate to find new ways to bring more people into the club, and Allie turns into this new way. So although she doesn't want Allie to be the star because she wants to keep herself as the star, she kind of finds that balance where if it's good for the club, Allie can be the star of the show, and Tess can be kind of the star of the background and still run the show and run the club and determine who does what. So I think that was a good turning point in the balance. And I also I really focused on the balance of power in my paper because I don't think it's something you notice at first, and I didn't notice it until I did my Maizen scene assignment with my still shot. And as I rewatched the movie, you can actually see that a lot of the elements kind of portray that balance. So towards the beginning of the film, Tess is always the dominant, and towards the end, they kind of balance the scenes where they're both dominants in the still shots that they're in together, or the lighting is also a big factor. So Tess is usually very lit up in the scene or front and center, and towards the end of the show when Allie's on stage, she gets to take that new role on. And as soon as you hear the storyline and the plot of the movie, you kind of assume that Allie goes from this very powerless person to the end of the show being the star of the show and having so much power and respect for her. So that's kind of the whole backstory of my project, and I just thought it would be really interesting to not only look at the plot line or the storyline of the movie, but also look at what underlying theme there could be. So I decided that one of the big themes that goes unnoticed is that it's kind of like out with the old and in with the new, and I think the balance of power really portrays that. Thanks.